space. Manisha joins in with all things commodities. Manisha's ready. Manisha.
I am. And I'm going to talk about palm oil prices and, of course, the details around that. Sandeep Bhan is CEO, SD Guthrie International Trading, and he joins us now. Sandeep, hi, thank you so much. And I want to talk about the prices first, which have been quite volatile when you look at this year. I mean, we started this year quite low at 3260 Myanmar ringgit per ton. We've seen a high of 4,500. We seem to be holding below 4,000 at this point in time. What are the fundamentals that you're watching, and what's your sense on prices going forward?
See, the prices have been trading in the range of 38 to 4,000 ringgit on the futures market here. When it comes to 4,000 or market crosses 4,000, a bit of a resistance is there at higher levels, and you see good selling coming down. And market goes back down to 3,900, below 3,900, between the range of 38 to 3,900. It has a very good support. All this is backed by the buying from India, and also, secondly, from the palm oil getting back to the cheaper oil. We have now palm oil discount to $100 against soybean oil and close to $125 discount to sunflower oil. That is making it very cheap oil among all the complex of edible oils. And that gives a bit of a demand coming back to the palm oil, which is giving the 3,800 to 3,900 a good support level.
Also, Sandeep, where do you see a resistance now coming in?
4,000 remains resistance in the current market fundamentals. Anything above 4,000, we see a good selling coming in. So
Sandeep,
kind of
also,
it's a range-bound market between 38, 39 on the sport side, 4,000 above, a bit of a resistance side. So it's been trading all along between 38.50 to 4,000 range.
That's a very tight range that we've seen palm really coming in. But Sandeep, with the kind of imports that we've seen for the month of May have been quite on the higher side on a month-on-month and an year-on-year basis as well. I mean, as you said, because the prices are now back in discount to other rival oils, perhaps seems to be supporting. But how are you looking at this year going forward now? On a month-on-month basis, what kind of imports will India do in sense of palm? An annual number as well for 2024, if you can share with us, if you've done any calculations.
We are very positive on the Indian demand now, with prices of palm oil going back to cheaper discounts against soybean and soft oil. We should see palm exports to India back to the range of 850 to 900,000 tons in coming months. We also have to factor in that the festival time when Diwali will be coming, and we will have to, India will see a big time buying of palm. Overall, in a year, we think last time we had discussed it that we might drop it down to 7.5 to 8 million tons because of the palm getting into premium. But I think with the palm going back to discount, we should go back to 9 million tons in the year.
Okay. Sandeep, there's various conversation really. And how are you basically reading on what HUL talked about in sense of lowering the palm content in soaps by 25%? I mean, two things that they talked about. One was environment and the other was the price volatility that we've seen in sense of palm.
See, their buying is mainly into the palm fatty acid distillate, which they use for the CPO, which they use for their soaps. But that quantity is not that big. It's close to, I think I was told, around 10,000 tons a month. But that's not going to make a significant impact on the PFAD market.
All right. Sandeep, also, how are you looking at the overall industry now going forward? Because we've seen the mandates in sense of biofuel from palm also perhaps starting to come back. So when we go forward, what is the kind of categorization that you see coming in from palm? As you said, it perhaps is going to be 9 million tons that India will import annually. Apart from that, where do you see the usages, especially when it comes to Malaysia and Indonesia?
See, Indonesian biodiesel program is a very successful program. They are heading towards B40, and the industry is doing very well in Indonesia, and that is giving a lot of support to the Indonesian prices locally. In terms of overall industry, we see India and China, which was missing in the first half of this year, has been last couple of weeks buying virtually every day they've been buying. India is big time into the markets. So we are seeing a shift of global demand back to palm, mainly because of palm being now the cheapest oil among all oils.
All right. I'm sure India being one of your largest markets, Sandeep, you would be looking out at the government reforms, policies, etc. going forward. And while, of course, we have seen National Palm Oil Mission as something that has been talked about in last couple of budgets, how are you looking at various steps, conversations about self-sufficiency when it comes to edible oil, push towards palm? How are you looking at this trajectory?
We are one of the supporters of the national oil seed missions in India. And in fact, we are one of the big seed suppliers to Indian importers. So we are looking for the success of this program. But besides that, the Indian consumption of palm oil is only going to grow. We are not seeing any dip in the consumption in coming years. It's only going to grow.
Any percentage number that you're working with in that sense, Sandeep, on how much percentage of palm oil demand India can see growing?
I won't be surprised seeing India importing 10 million tons in coming years, maybe next 1 or 2 years' time.
All right, Sandeep, thank you so much for joining us. Well, that's all about the palm, which is used right from your lipsticks to cosmetics to food to processed food and soaps. And you can perhaps continue with that.
The chips.
The chips. You had to add that one on. So as Sandeep said, 9 million tons is what we're looking at this year and 10 million tons going forward. So palm is something, the cheapest oil that we will continue to import going forward. With that, it's a wrap on this halftime report, but Business Lunch will take all the action ahead.